What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon update video. In this video, I will be discussing the most recent news regarding the other Game of Thrones successor shows that were in development at HBO. Now, before any of you lose your minds, I want to make sure everyone understands this has nothing to do with House of the Dragon. There is another reason why you're seeing the sea snake on my thumbnail. So don't jump out that window just yet. House of the Dragon isn't going anywhere, not after all the success it just had. Also, make sure you stay until the end of this video because there's a massive new update from George R. R. Martin himself. Now, as I'm sure most of you already know, HBO has been developing a number of different Game of Thrones shows based on George R. R. Martin's world of A Song of Ice and Fire. After the global success of Game of Thrones, HBO started developing other shows set in Westeros and even Essos before the original show ended over 3 years ago. Now that they've found even more success with House of the Dragon, I have to assume, and secretly hope, HBO is working hard to get another show off the ground. Well, according to this new article, it seems HBO might have shut down a few of these other successor shows that were in the early stages of development. If you have seen all of my update videos before, then you know HBO was working on a show about the sea snake and his legendary 9 voyages from around the world of Ice and Fire. They were also developing a series about Nymeria, but it seems this show is no longer on their list either. As of right now, The Adventures of Dunk and Egg is the only live-action show that's said to be still in development. Now, you have to remember, none of this information has been confirmed by HBO. This information is from Startling Inc., who founded the literary management and company to which George R. R. Martin was signed. Well, their website once showed all the different Game of Thrones successor shows that were in development at HBO. The series about the sea snake and his 9 voyages, as well as the series about Nymeria, was once listed here with these other shows, but now it says The Adventures of Dunk and Egg is the only live-action successor show that's still in development. Now, maybe the shows have found a different home with another company, however, that does seem very unlikely, considering Startling Inc. has been working with HBO throughout the run of Game of Thrones and now House of the Dragon. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to move somewhere else, but at the end of the day, you never really know either. As always, we will have to wait for a confirmation from HBO, but as of right now, it does seem accurate. Thankfully, there was no mention of the Jon Snow show. In fact, HBO still hasn't made their own announcement about it as of yet, but George R. R. Martin and Amelia have already revealed they were making the show with Game of Thrones actor Kit Harington. So, like I said, don't worry, we are still getting House of the Dragon's second season. In fact, I guarantee that show isn't going anywhere after all the success it had. And we might still see this Jon Snow series. As long as HBO doesn't announce it's shut down, then I will have to assume they're still making it. As always, I will make sure that you're up to date with any and all information regarding these shows, as well as anything regarding Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, or A Song of Ice and Fire. Now let me give you the most recent update about the Winds of Winter. Like I said at the beginning of this video, George R. R. Martin recently revealed a major new update about his next novel in the A Song of Ice and Fire saga. During a recent interview, he finally revealed exactly how much he has written in The Winds of Winter.
Dance with Dragons and Storm of Swords are the 2 largest books in the series. They were both about 1,500 manuscript pages. I think this one is going to be longer than that by the time I finish it, and I think I'm about 3/4 of the way done, maybe. But that's not 100% done, so I have to continue to work on it.
As you can see, George R. R. Martin has finally confirmed exactly how far along he is with the next novel. This is something millions of fans have been wondering ever since it was delayed year after year. Most fans have already given up on the idea of ever reading The Winds of Winter because a lot of them assume he will never get it done. As I'm sure most of you already know, it has been over a decade since George R. R. Martin released his last installment from the A Song of Ice and Fire saga. In fact, The Dance with Dragons released right around the first season of Game of Thrones, and now we've just finished the first season of House of the Dragon, and The Winds of Winter still isn't here. When you think about it, it's actually kind of amazing in a negative sort of way. Now, if you're someone who watches all my videos, then you know I always go back and forth with if I think we will ever see the damn novel. George R. R. Martin has given us so many updates in the last decade, sometimes it's hard to know whether he's almost done or if he's given up. Well, considering he's now saying it's 75% done, I do think we will eventually see The Winds of Winter. Let's all hope we will get it during the off-season of House of the Dragon. That would actually be amazing because that's when we will need it the most. I would love to dive back into the original story the way it was meant to be written, while we wait for the follow-up of House of the Dragon's incredible first season. Now, will we ever see A Dream of Spring? I don't know. You would hope that once he finishes writing this mess that is The Winds of Winter, maybe A Dream of Spring will be much easier. I'm also assuming a lot more characters will die in the Winds of Winter as well, so that will be less chapters he will have to write for the final novel. But I don't want to get ahead of myself either. Let's just see if we will get this next one first before I start thinking about A Dream of Spring. Let me know what all of you think about these new updates down below.
I do have to ask you, since I have you here, last year you've given us some teases about the Winds of Winter, but last year you dropped the bomb that you had a twist that you were contemplating, but you weren't sure if you were going to go ahead with it. Can you tell us if you've decided, and if we'll know what it is when we eventually read it?
I have decided to do that, yes. I have decided to do it. And will you know it? I don't know. It's fairly obvious because it's something that involves a couple characters, one of whom is dead in the show, but not dead in the books. So the show can't do this, unfortunately.
You tease.
Because they've killed a character that I have not killed. But that doesn't narrow it down much, because at this point there are like 15 characters who are dead on the show who are still alive in the books.
Yeah.
I get all of this stuff about being bloody-minded, but David and Dan are bloodier than I am.
Listen, I saw your office bathroom.
Actors are expensive.
Yeah, right? No, I saw your office bathroom. You have the psycho bloody handprints.
Did any of you want to see those shows about the Sea Snake or Nymeria? And how many of you think we will actually get the Winds of Winter soon? I want to know what all of you think. As always, I have to thank all of you for stopping by and watching my video. I hope all of you have a great day. I will see you again very soon in the next one. Bye.
You know what? I rewatched it all recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
That kind of surprises me.
Yeah, I feel.
What did you think?
It definitely fell off at the end. But it started really strong. Really strong.
So-
I was heartbroken when Ned died, and I knew it was coming, and I was like, oh, because I for the
You were
first
there.
time, I know.